on ours.
Okay, it doesn't show that on my end.
So funny, hey?
Oh my goodness. Well, we're just gonna go with it, right? So it shows up for you as live, correct?
Yeah, there's live above your head, and then it says on air, and you're in the show, it says.
Well, it'd be nice to inform the host of that.
No kidding, right?
All
It's
right.
funny how everybody sees something different. Like, why can't we all see the same thing?
All
Where is
right. So
which group are we in right now?
we're live just on through Restream and on YouTube. So we're not necessarily in a specific group.
Oh, okay. I wonder if I could see
So
you on YouTube. Oh, but sometimes I can't. I don't know. Anyway. Oh yeah, I see us. We're there.
okay.
I see us
All
on
right.
YouTube.
Well, this is going to be a really fun introduction. All right. So, welcome to Rise Above Real People, Real Talk. We are back for the new year. And today's guest is the lovely Miss Martina Wall. And she is in a whole different region than I am. She's over in Canada. So, that's really cool, probably
Yeah.
literally. So, welcome, Martina. I'm going to go ahead and let you take it and introduce yourself and
Sure. Yeah, so my name's Martina. I am a wife, a mama, a mystic mama, and I to two boys, and we live in northern British Columbia, so we got lots of snow. And I guess to summarize who I am a youth care worker by day, and then my side passions that I am pursuing more in the lately is I'm a hatha yoga teacher, that I infuse kind of aromatherapy into my yoga practice and crystals. And so I'm a crystal, what do I call this? Like a crystal, what am I? Lover of crystals,
there you go.
lover of essential oils. Um, and lately I've been kind of pursuing the passion of like on a self-love journey for myself, and then now empowering others to do the same, of loving themselves exactly as they are. So kind of doing the inner work through lots of journaling, which then brings me to a book that I'm released, and I've done a kids book for essential oils, so I'm an author. And so that's, I guess, kind of in a nutshell. I always tell myself that I'm a squirrel because I go in a million different directions, but that's what makes me me.
Yeah. And that you get stuff done. I think that's probably one of the things that is my driving force as well is if you have all that stuff going on, you're gonna like start getting stuff done.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it can
Yeah,
be a good thing to be a
I think
squirrel at times.
so. Yeah.
That's awesome. So why don't you share a little bit about what got you onto this journey with your wellness studio, if you will,
Yeah.
and all the things that you're on? What brought you to this path?
Yeah. So I guess it started probably when my kids were small. I had a mom friend who had asked me to go to a yoga class, and I answered her by saying that I was too big to do yoga, and that I couldn't do it because I would look like a beach whale on the yoga mat, and that I convinced myself that that's not something I can do. So I wouldn't go. I told her I wouldn't go until I lost X amount of pounds, which is ridiculous.
Mm.
I see that now. And so I did eventually go. And I did. I wouldn't go until I lost X amount of pounds, which is so stupid now that I say it out loud. Um, so then after that, after I took my first yoga class, like life changed for me. Like it gave me this inner kind of confidence of knowing that I can do something regardless of what size I am. Like that doesn't matter. It doesn't determine my worth or my value or my importance. And then I just started kind of like craving more of that type of wellness for myself that gave me that peace of mind and that connection to things that just helped me so much with like my own feelings of feeling like that I'm enough and that I'm worthy. And because I didn't feel those things, just because I grew up in a world where if you weren't a small size, then you didn't have value. So that's kind of the core of where everything started for me. And then from that, I kind of dove into like the aromatherapy part and how connecting to my emotions through essential oils was like life changing also. And then just kind of going further into it. So doing the journaling that then made me learn more about myself and kind of built up my confidence and my self-esteem and kind of allowed me to learn to like set boundaries for myself and allow myself to forgive me and forgive those around me. And then, yeah, diving into the crystals, and I became a crystal healer. So then I now use the power of crystals and oils and yoga to kind of help myself and others. And so that's kind of how my wellness studio came to be. Once I had my yoga practice, any yoga people out there will know that it's really hard to find space in small communities where you can practice consistently without having to like carry your whole studio with you. So I did my research and found like affordable places, and I now currently have my own studio with a partner, a business partner who we do like reflexology and crystal healing and Reiki and yoga and different wellness workshops and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's kind of my path to my wellness studio and kind of my wellness journey to some degree. So yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. And I think, especially with what you were sharing, I know so many people, including myself, who've had those same thoughts. Like, you just feel so awkward and uncomfortable because if you go to a gym or any type of fitness thing, the majority of people there are well on their journey.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
when you see those fit bodies and the tights and everything, and it throws it all out there. So it is like your vulnerability. And it's so challenging, I think, to push
Yeah.
people to get over that mindset. Like, oh, I'll go to the gym or I'll go get fit when I'm fit, right?
Right. I know.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's exactly what I thought going into my, especially my yoga journey of that. And it's needed. Like more people need to be yoga teachers who are more like average weight, because it does bring like that inclusion piece into yoga that allows you to accept that anybody can do it. Like anybody can do yoga. If you have a body, you can do yoga. And so that's been a lot of my kind of niche in the yoga community too, is being a person that um, is showing people that you can do it regardless of size. Um, and that, the end goal doesn't always have to be to lose 100 pounds. It can be more of a healthy mind, body, soul, and like connecting to all those areas to be like a well-rounded, healthy person, right? So,
yeah,
yeah.
that's absolutely it too. I think we all have perceptions of fitness and what health is. And the irony, when I was going to the gym, I would see these people with like the Arnold Schwarzenegger bodies. And yet they're eating these horrible foods. And I'm thinking, you're going to die soon. Like
I
the clogged
know.
arteries and everything. So that
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
huge thing for me that like clicked it into place was health means nothing about what size I fit into
Yeah.
or anything like that. It has everything to
Yeah.
do with the inside and out, the holistic part of health. And
Yes.
I think it's so needed to, like you said, to have more diversity and the inclusivity of everyone being able to work on their health and feel
Yeah.
empowered and encouraged, not feeling like you have to look a certain way to be fit. That has nothing to do with
Yeah.
fitness.
Yeah.
Um, but personally, when I watched you and I watched one of your yoga videos, that just made me feel so comfortable.
Yeah.
That it was so empowering and encouraging to me. So what you are doing is absolutely wonderful. You're definitely a
Oh,
role
thank
model.
you. Thanks. Yeah, like going back to the um like I think going back to like the whole value of having to be a certain size, um I think a lot of my journey too is like because I had gone like I had like a lot of us like I went every year it's like okay I'm gonna lose this much weight, but and then I did at one point I had lost 80 pounds from my heaviest weight, and then I thought that that was going to be the check mark to be like okay now you can be happy, right?
Mm,
and
yeah.
and once I got there and realized that I wasn't any happier than I was a heavier size, that I then realized that I needed to do that inner work, that holistic, natural
Mhm.
work of doing like fixing myself on the inside, because if you don't create your inner world, your outer world is going to be like messed up, really, right? And so um, I think that was a big like turning point for me too, realizing that that my size didn't make me happy. I had to do all
Mhm.
this like using the oils and the yoga and the journaling, especially connecting all those pieces together, is what has given me the
Mhm.
confidence to be who I am now and to show up how I am. So um yeah, it's pretty cool. And I didn't realize that like as I was growing up as either even a teenager, always given this perception that your size determines how confident you're
Mhm.
allowed to be. And so when I finally realized that, which probably wasn't till my mid 20s, or not even, probably 30 plus, that it's like finally like I can show up and do anything that I want and it doesn't matter what size I am. Um, so I would love for people to figure that out sooner, is one of my missions, is for people to be able to kind of let go of that whole idea of you
Mhm.
can only be confident and show up if you are a certain type of person, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
That point is so crucial for people to understand. That's something as I've studied people with eating disorders and going through my own issues, that's what I noticed was that they can get to a certain size and they'll never be happy until they work on that inner stuff. And if they don't
Yes.
do
Yeah.
that, it doesn't matter. I mean, you look at the celebrities too. They have the perfect bodies, which have been manufactured and everything, and they're not
Yeah.
happy,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that right there is the key to everything. And if a
Yeah.
person can understand that, that's it. I mean, they can do anything.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and like I think you and I were talking in our previous call that self-love, going back to the self-love piece, that kind of connects all areas of your life. And I don't
Mm,
think it's like I don't think that point is kind of like put enough importance on in our world of like
yep.
that you have to love because if you do love yourself, you are going to be that confident person, that
Mhm.
person that has good so high self-esteem, who has sets those boundaries and all those things that make a successful person kind of all come down to the base of loving yourself, right? So I think it's so important for people to kind of get that message.
Absolutely. And in this culture and society, we're taught that self care is selfish. And
Yeah.
it is so not. It just creates this vicious cycle. So when people
Yeah.
do take that step for self-care, what they need to do to be better moms, friends, serve in the community, spouses, etc., or just not hate yourself, then
Yes.
there's that guilt
Yeah.
and shame because you're told that that's selfish. And but the people who say that are the ones who need that work the most because
Yeah,
they're not
exactly. I
they're
know.
not happy or content with themselves either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting to see the correlations to things. And like you said, it connects to everything. We can have the tools, we can have the education, but if we don't do self-care and work out those things for ourselves and get comfortable with our own skin, whatever it looks like,
Yes. Yeah.
then
Yeah.
we're not going to go far. But if we do that, like you said, I mean, that's the key to success right there, or
Yeah.
whatever your
Yeah.
definition of success is.
Yes. No, I think so. Yeah.
So, going a little deeper,
Yeah.
coming up against situations, has there been a point in your life, your journey, that you were really struggling and we're wanting to throw in the towel.
Absolutely. I think it happens to us more often than we like to admit. Like, I think it just depends. There's been lots of times, but like I think probably a low point, which I guess this takes a little bit of a turn. Um, a low point for me was when I wasn't taking care of myself and I had, the young kids at home and I was not taking any time for myself. Um, and I think it was kind of and I wasn't wanting to be intimate with my husband. I just had no and because I wasn't taking care of myself, everything, all the other things around me were also struggling, right? Like I wasn't showing up as well as I should for my kids or my husband or just life in general, right? So yeah, so then like to be intimate with you guys, like there was a point where I think a year had gone by where I had been intimate with my husband just because I was in such a point that I just couldn't, like it just wasn't, I felt so horrible about myself that I just couldn't bring myself to do it, right? And so that's when I started my essential oil journey and using products that helped me to kind of increase my work on my emotions and work on oils that supported my hormones and stuff like that not realizing that I had a hormone imbalance, and that was a big part of my journey, is knowing that I had that lack in my body and needed to have something that fixed it. I was never a person that would advocate for my answer wasn't just to take pills or that kind of thing. So I found a natural product that totally reversed like my lack of hormones and balanced me out, and life's been so different since then for that. My relationships changed with my husband, and so then I had that feeling of I'm a good wife now. Not that I wasn't before, but when you feel like that's a missing piece of your marriage, right? That's pretty crucial. So so that was a point where I felt super low, but then took the natural steps to advocate for myself and what my body needed, right? So then that was after that, then I started to go into more of the, okay, what else is out there that's going to help me feel better? So yeah, so that's kind of where it started for sure.
That is something that I think every female, especially a mom, gets to that place at some point. And I've
Yes.
heard it in my
Yeah.
own circles, the private conversations. I've heard that so much.
Yeah.
And, with myself, there's just, again, if you're neglecting yourself, there's so much attached to it that I don't think people quite get
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
they try it and then it all starts like bottoming out and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
the marriage and the whole mindset with it. How can you get inspired to be intimate and feel romantic if you
Yeah.
don't feel romantic? If
No,
all those
exactly,
negative
right?
thoughts are coming in your head and,
Well,
oh,
yeah, the shame and the guilt and all
mhm.
those things surrounded by that. It's um and people don't talk about it. Like it's not
Yep.
something that is mainstream to say that I struggle with. So then you do feel like I'm the worst wife in the world. Nobody else does this. Everyone else has the perfect marriage.
Which
Yeah.
no
So
one has the perfect marriage and everyone goes through that. So,
I know, but I wish, like you said, like people would talk about it
mhm.
more because, yeah, your
Yeah.
intimate conversations with friends, that's something that definitely happens. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, it doesn't come up enough in the
No,
normal day to day
no.
life. Yeah.
And that's what I hear too, as a coach and really getting these intimate looks at people's lives. There's so much shame and guilt attached to that as well because people don't see it out there. It's not being
Yeah.
talked about.
Yeah.
And so it just perpetuates that cycle again of, oh, there's something really wrong with me. Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
and it's horrible. So that's
I know.
actually exactly right there is one of the key reasons I started this in the first place is so people wouldn't feel so alone.
Yeah.
My little guy came in
What you doing, Mom?
getting his food.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, and in these situations too, it's just being a parent. Like right now, I'm flying solo. My husband's working at his second job, and it's easy for me to feel depleted. I have so much going on,
Yeah.
and that's why it's even more important that I take care of myself first. Just
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
it's overused, but you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first
Yes.
before you go do anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
And
what has
especially moms forget
Go ahead.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because of the distraction and everything else in life. So
Yeah.
what has what's your best tip, because you're still a mom and have kids in your
Yeah.
home? How do you do
Yeah.
that daily? Or are you able to do it daily? Is it a habit for you, or
Yeah.
is it still a struggle to do that?
Yeah, like my boys are 10 and 13. So definitely easier to take that time away for yourself. Um I guess my tips would be like as sucky as it is, which I am not always good at, is waking up earlier. Um and I still like I do it sometimes but not all the time. Uh and just I think like my biggest thing is even when like and I think when you're have a young mom with younger kids, it's learning that self-care or self-love doesn't have to be you don't have to like book this whole amount of time off, like 2 hours or 5 hours or a whole afternoon. Like it's learning to kind of like keep, like for example for me, like I would keep a journal on my table, and then if I had 5 minutes then I would sit and just write in my journal. And that just gave me like a short little time frame that at least I was able to write down either my thoughts or do a prompt or write down some gratitudes or whatever that is. um, and just kind of breaking it into smaller chunks, like knowing that you can't always, it's not realistic to be able to set across this time all the time, right? Um, so that's something that definitely has worked for me, is being able to set across tinier times to be able to do it.
Mhm.
Also, if you're on the go too, lots of moms who are busy, who are not able to be at home necessarily, but it's like your phone, even like putting affirmations as like an alarm in your phone,
Mhm.
so then affirmations will pop up for you throughout your day. Um, just to kind of remind yourself of those things that you are, right? So um and I know I've seen other people, I haven't done it for myself, but like writing uh post-it notes and putting it on your mirror, so every time you go to the bathroom you
Mhm.
see something there that reminds you of uh affirmations or like stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
um
Yeah.
Same thing with yoga. I will like do just random yoga throughout the day. Like if I'm in the kitchen, I will do like a forward fold or like a stretch for my shoulders, or like um something that literally just looks like I'm hanging out in the kitchen, but I am stretching and doing that kind of stuff. So I think it's my best tips would be to just know that you can do stuff in a short amount of time and still feel like
Mhm.
you have these little escapes throughout the day. So yeah, that's kind of what helps me. But because my boys are older, I'm able to actually, like, my studio is a lot of my self-care. I'm able to sneak away there and have quiet time there when I need it. But yeah,
Right.
so yeah.
That's great. I mean, those are some wonderful tips, and that's exactly what I found too. Obviously, if you have little kids, especially, you don't have time to just go in and do large chunks of time. So
Yes.
I just started with taking an extra minute or two in the bathroom, because then they
Yes.
know
Yep.
to leave me alone. And I would do whatever I needed to do, take an oil, like you said, the affirmations. I had the sticky notes all around because I need
Yeah.
visual reminders. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it just started from there, and now it's 15 minutes during the day, or I give myself a timeout. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's not my kids that need the timeout, it's me.
Yeah. Yes,
So,
absolutely.
and then it just changes everything. The whole mood
Yeah.
in the house changes once I do that. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Because if us mamas aren't happy and well, then nobody else is.
And we
Right?
have a tendency when we're stressed out and burnout to it just comes out.
Oh
Whether we
yeah.
like it or not, it just
Yeah.
comes out. And since our natural role is to be more nurturing and gentle with
Yes.
the kids
Yeah.
and really give off that love and support and comfort, it's really challenging. And
Yeah.
we have to give that to ourselves first. Otherwise, it
Oh,
just
for
all
sure. Yeah,
otherwise
absolutely.
it's thorns rather than the rose, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I think it goes back to like our energies too, right? Like if you are in
Mhm.
that bad space, then you're going to have bad energy that's going to spread throughout your whole house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's so much of it. And like even like another I thought of another tip too that I like to do is just have crystals around the house, and I'll grab different
Mm.
crystals and just actually hold them as I'm either sitting with the kids or whatever, and like just being having those tangible things to like have and hold and set intentions to and stuff like that. So uh
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Just finding
Yeah.
whatever works for you really, but um yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite crystal right now or one that you've really noticed a difference for helping with that negative energy or help
I think
self-care?
for me, probably rose quartz is my favorite for that.
Okay.
Um, and I have it all over the house. I feel like rose quartz is such a good one for so many things, and especially in a home
Yeah.
because it's your universal love crystal. So, um, yeah, that's one of my favorites for sure. And I have those just
Awesome.
kind of everywhere and able to grab whenever I need to.
Awesome. Yeah. Of course, I'd love to hear more, and I'll have to have you back on another time.
Yeah,
And hopefully, our internet will be better, more stable.
I know.
But I want to make sure that everyone knows about the upcoming projects you have, how to get in touch with you, things like that. So, can you let
Yeah.
them know that?
Sure, yes. Um, so I got a couple different things that I'm offering. Um, I have where should I start? I have an Etsy page where I have like essential oil, like diffuser jewelry and crystal jewelry and some crystals and stuff like that. Um, I can put that link on after. And then I also have a free group called Imperfectly Perfect You, where women empower each other to love their imperfectly perfect selves. And right now we're doing a 21-day challenge, a free challenge where we're going through different natural and holistic ways that we can support finding our magic, which is kind of finding that inner fire and that confidence to show up in life how we want to, and love ourselves and all those things, right? And then I also have a 8-week program course that takes you through a journal or a 8-week course where it takes you through different journal prompts, meditations, yoga practices that are all surrounded on like improving your mindset, your confidence, your self love, your forgiveness, boundaries, creativity, kind of all the kind of well rounded things that make us become better versions of ourselves, right? So that program is on my website, which I can add later too. And then my newest thing that's coming out at the end of this month is I've released, or I will be releasing, a self love journal. So the journal has over 80 pages of journal prompts that kind of allow you to tap in similar things to what I do in my course, on just working on your mindset and your self love practices and kind of all the things that make up all the ways that you can achieve self-love for yourself, and working through some things that might be hard and things that are going to allow you to get to know yourself better, which is going to in turn then help you better show up for everybody in your life, including yourself. So yeah, so that journal will be released, I think, end of January. I'm just waiting for my proof to get back before I can launch it. So um, so yes, we'll put the link to that once I have it.
Definitely. That's so
Yeah.
exciting. So I'm actually on like day 3 of the challenge and loving it so far.
Oh,
And
good.
like
Awesome.
everything that you're doing is just so, so spot on and perfect. Like I wish every mom, every woman in the world would do this. And even the guys too. Guys
Yeah.
get neglected so much
No,
too.
it's true, right?
But
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's everything you're doing is spot on for what we really need to thrive. So
Yeah.
thank you for what you're doing.
Awesome.
And
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
cannot wait to get my own self-love journal and start
Yeah.
practicing that. Because I can
Yeah.
love everyone, like to an extreme degree, but myself, it's still a
Yes.
struggle. That's my
It's
biggest
still
struggle.
hard. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
We're our hardest critic, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forget anyone else, like,
Oh, I
I can do
know.
more damage.
Yeah. Oh,
Alright,
man.
well, thank you so much, Martina,
Yes.
for time. We're
Thanks for
gonna
having
wrap
me on.
up, and
Okay.
yeah, we'll have you back
Sounds good.
soon so you
All
can
right.
share
Sounds
maybe
good.
after you've released your
Yes.
journal,
Yeah,
and
that sounds awesome. Cool. Well,
alright,
thanks, Crystal.
no problem, and that's all for our interview with Miss Martina Wall. I hope you enjoyed it, and you'll start taking some of those tips and putting it into your own life. Bye for now.